All right. All right. All right. What is good? What is good? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who it is. Dr. Mike is back again, once again, with another classic live stream for you guys today. First and foremost, showing love to everybody who had the opportunity or the ability to show up to the chat today. Appreciate all of you guys. And again, the channel would not be anything without you guys today. Showing my love and support to everybody who's come through on the last live streams, people who support the channel. Always nothing but love for you guys. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick time check. Time check is about 8:31 in the p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll say about 5:30 in the p.m. on the West Coast Central Time, about 7:30 in the p.m. and of course in the Philippines about 8:31 in the a.m. Again, guys, appreciate you guys coming through, and I got a hell of a topic for you guys tonight. Never one to mince words, not one to really waste time. I'm definitely going to rip this bitch off like a band-aid because we are going to get into it today. And I know you guys got a lot to say about this, so definitely make sure that you participate in the chat below. I apologize, guys, if I miss questions or anything that you may have about this particular topic. I hate to say it, guys, but sometimes you might have to hit me with a super chat so that I don't overlook questions. If it's a $2, I don't care. It will go towards a good cause, I promise you. But again, that's only if there are dying questions that must be answered, okay? So I appreciate all of you guys coming through tonight. And let's go ahead and get into it like we normally do. Okay, first and foremost, I want to provide a thought for you. I want to provide some food for thought for you guys real quick. And after I get my thoughts out, you know I go to the chat, all right? So let me get my thoughts out, say everything I got to say, get my piece on, do whatever I got to do. And then we're going to go to the chat and we're going to participate in the chat as soon as I finish, okay? But here's some food for thought. Giving can make you feel good, like you're doing something right until it feels wrong. I repeat, giving can make you feel good, like you're doing something right until it feels wrong. Now, you take that any way that you want to, okay? I promise you, you can take that any way that you want to, but that's just some food for thought before we jump into the topic today. All right. So, from the perspective of the dark side of supporting your Filipinas family, oh my God, I know you guys are definitely going to provide me with some shit today, but I'm going to go ahead and lay the foundation for you guys and we can work from there. All right. Foreigners, as a foreigner, I like to say we are in a very delicate situation when we date Filipinas, okay? We are in a very delicate situation because we have the right to at least say no. I repeat, when it comes to providing support for your Filipina or your Filipinas family, we actually have the right to say no. Now, although we do have the right to say no, many of us probably say yes, but although we do have the right to say no, I am not sure of what will be the outcome of you saying no. Okay. Now, let me make that abundantly clear. I believe that the worst case scenario that could possibly happen if you decide that you do not want to support your girlfriend's family or whatever it may be, the worst possible outcome is you possibly lose the girl. All right, that's kind of the worst case scenario for me. You probably end up ruining the relationship, but again, if that's what the relationship was based off of course, that is not a good relationship for you anyways, okay? But I feel like once you say yes, and once you agree to say, you know what, I don't mind providing a little bit of support to your family, you know, because we're together. Once you make that decision, once you say, okay, once you agree to it, that is an ironclad contract. You might as well say that's an ironclad contract, signed, pressed, you know, stamped. When you took it to NBI, I mean, not NBI, but you took it to the attorney's office, you stamped it, got the notary public. It's a fucking public document. You might as well say that because once you start, it's almost highly unlikely that you'll be able to stop. Once you start providing support for your Filipinas family, I can almost guarantee, sometimes you can, but almost guarantee it will be highly unlikely that you will be able to stop. Because people get into the tendency of the need for it now. All of a sudden, now they need it from you because you've agreed to provide a certain amount of support for a certain amount of time over a period of time, and it's probably going to be a certain amount. You probably aren't going to fluctuate the amount. You'll say, okay, we'll get 5,000 every month. Now, once you start, or once you've agreed to get 5,000 a month, you have to give 5,000 a month every month, because it's going to be an expectation. Now, of course, you could be the big bad foreigner and say, fuck it, man, I don't have to give you shit. You be that type of guy. But then again, in my personal opinion, you've already made the contract when you agreed to support the family, okay? And in the back of my mind, when it comes to dealing with Filipino women, in its essence, I'm the type of guy, I need a woman who is an independent thinker. All right. And I think, we don't talk about this enough, but when it comes to the dark side of supporting your Filipina, we're going to get into it, from the essence of the woman herself. All right. You need a woman who is an independent thinker. Okay. Let me make that abundantly clear. One more time. You need a woman that is an independent thinker. Because if she thinks only what mommy and daddy say to her, you're screwed. If her thought process is whatever mommy and daddy tells her, then you are screwed. If your woman doesn't have an independent mind from the family, you are in a very, very bad situation. Now, how many girls are actually like that? I don't know. All right. But again, it's in your best interest to avoid the dark side of supporting your Filipina. You need to find a woman that is an independent thinker. Again, we're talking about Filipinas now. Now, I'm not saying that is in abundance. There's quite a few, but there probably aren't enough that you guys can actually come across. But you do need a woman that is an independent thinker. Now, I'm the type of person that says, okay, I love my woman to be an independent thinker. But I'm the type of guy, I'm like, I want her to do as I say, but I still want her to have her own thoughts. Okay. Now, having a woman that's submissive to you as a man, blah, 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 that's good. That's good to an extent. All right. Good to an extent. But I do want my woman to have her own thoughts. All right. And I think you guys should want a woman to have her own thoughts as well. All right. Because if something happens to you, heaven forbid, she's screwed if she can't create her own wealth or support herself. You can give her $1 million. But if she doesn't know how to spend it because she doesn't know how to think for herself or doesn't know how to create opportunities for herself, you're fucked. So basically, in the relationship, guys, as you're in a relationship with the Filipina, you got to put it in her mind that she has to be able to create her own wealth. And I'm not saying she has to be super rich, but she has to be able to create opportunities for herself. I don't care if she's just working. As long as she has a job and she's able to manage money, that's a positive. That's a positive step in the right direction, okay? Because I don't want something to happen to you and she not be able to take care of herself, all right? And this all ties into the dark side of supporting your Filipina, because once you just give money, you just give it, and there's nothing in return, or you're not teaching them what to do with the money that you give, you're fucked, okay? And if she's just giving that money to the family, you're double fucked, because, it all ties in together, guys. Just let me get my thoughts out real quick. I feel like in the back of my mind, supporting cripples more than it helps. I repeat, supporting the family will cripple them more than it will help them. Because again, like I said earlier, it will always be something that they rely on. Okay. It will always be something that they rely on. Oh, no need to worry about paying the bill this month. We already know that's, for so-and-so is going to send the 5,000 on the first. So we're okay. You understand where I'm coming from? You're crippling the mind of individuals because you're saying, okay, I agreed to help you, and I'm doing this because I want to, but their mind is like, fuck it, I already know the money's coming, so why do I even need to worry about this or that and the other, until it's time for me to get my next paycheck from you? Almost like they're just getting paid to do nothing. Think about that. You're just giving them money for nothing. That cripples a person to no end, all right? Again, we're talking about the dark sides of supporting your Filipina or supporting your Filipina's family, all right? And, as foreigners, we do have options. Like I said before, as foreigners, we're good to go. We can say fuck no if we don't want to. Worst case scenario, we lose the girl. Fuck it. All right, we move on. That's our life. But my feelings, where this particular topic lies, I feel the worst for OFWs. I feel the worst for overseas Filipino workers. You want to know why? Because 99.999999% of the time, they are the ones that cannot say no. It's almost like they have no option. They are the ones that cannot say no, because saying no is really not an option for them. It's because it's like defying the family or going against the family. Oh, how dare you do this? How dare you do that? Oh, you're not going to support the family if you go to work over here. Oh, you're not going to do that for us. Oh, you're just such the worst person. They have the mentality to make Filipinos feel guilty about not helping. Again, this is the dark side of supporting your Filipinas family, aka even the Filipina supporting their own family. It all ties together. All right. Families can manipulate and make these people feel guilty to the point that they have no choice. You feel me? I feel so fucking bad for OFWs because they guilt trip them into the fact to the point where they don't have a choice. And I have had conversations, with my friends before. All right. And this is a topic of conversation that's come up recently. And they were talking about the Filipino family mentality. Nobody, no child goes against the Filipino family mentality. Nobody goes against the matriarch or the patriarch of the family. You do not go against what they tell you or what they advise you. And you know what? I'm noticing that more and more and more as I spend time in the country. Filipinos in general, they have their own mindset. They may have ideas of what they want to do in life. I say this jokingly, but maybe you want to grow up to be a fucking comedian. Maybe you want to make people laugh. Tell your mother and father, if you are Filipino, that you want to do that for a living. They will fucking laugh at you, throw your ass into med school, or put your ass in a degree or a nursing degree course in any university and say you're gonna do this and this is what you're gonna do, and then you're gonna go abroad and then you're gonna send money home. That's your life. Filipino families plan out their children's lives from the day that they are born. Again, this focuses in on the dark side of supporting your Filipina's family or Filipino supporting their own family. It's the dark side of it. Most of the time, they don't have options. And I've had conversations with my friends recently, and they were talking about how it's just not okay to defy the family. You can't have your own thoughts. It's almost impossible for you to have an independent thought from what your mother and father thinks. All right. Again, us as foreigners, we can say no and be done. But the Filipina, and the family, the one that's going through it with the individuals or the person in the family, they don't have that right. And you want to do so many things on your own. You have so many dreams and aspirations in life, but you're stuck. That's the way it is. They're just fucking stuck. And that kills me more and more every day, knowing that, at least in the United States, for the most part, in the United States, you have the right to do whatever you want to. You can have an independent thought. If you want to go to school for a useless degree like African American literature or be a historian, or I should say these are useless degrees, but degrees that don't really fit into a normal job in society. If you want to get a job like that, you have an option. A degree in arts or some shit like that. You have the option. In the Philippines, like I said, that most of these courses are not even offered. But at the end of the day, most degrees that they offer in the universities in the Philippines are definitely usable. Okay. These are degrees that could be put towards, fields in the any field or any industry that could actually make the money down the line. And if I'm speaking from my own relationship, I have to commend my girl. She definitely has a strong head on her shoulders, and I'm thankful for that. All right. She has no problem saying no. And I love that about her. And that's what I mean by independent thinker. Me and her, we clash from time to time, but for some god awful reason, I like that about my relationship, because at least I know my girl has a backbone. At least I know my girl's gonna stand up when she needs to stand the fuck up. That's what I love about our relationship. She don't fuck around with me too much, but at the end of the day, I know for a fact that my lady, if push come to shove, heaven forbid something happens to me, my girl knows that she can pick up and keep it moving. All right. If push came to shove and, we actually decided that we wanted to settle in the United States, I told her first and foremost, we're going to each have our very own allowance. Okay. We are each going to have our very own allowance. And if she chooses to send her allowance or whatever money she brings in to her family, that is her choice. But if she sends all of it, whatever little money that was set aside for her for that month is gone. Pretty much it's gone. You do that shit, you spend whatever you want to and send everything you want home to the family. That's your choice. That's not my choice. You have to wait until next month to get whatever salary you're going to get. Again, like I said, we're both going to have jobs, of course, but I'm just saying, though, we both live off an allowance. You set aside money for ourselves to spend, the rest of it we save. All right. Bills, whatever it needs to be taken care of, we take care of that. But that's the way that it needs to be, and I feel like that's the way that it needs to work in the United States. In my opinion, if you put the situation on her like that, it has to be her decision on whether she chooses to send the money home or not, and how much of that money she wants to send home or not. Because once it falls on you and you say no, you look bad. But if it falls on her and she says no, she's saying no to her family. That's not you saying no, that's her saying no. So again, you're putting that ball in her court. You're allowing her to make the decision on how much money she sends home. All right. So I feel like that's the best way as a foreigner to go about this particular situation, is allowing her to do it. That way you can pretty much try your best to avoid the dark side of supporting the Filipinas family. All right. You're not the one making the decision. You're not the bad boy. You're not this, that, and the other. But then again, my girl's the type of person, she's funny as hell. Because if she doesn't want to deal with it, you know what she does? She'll be like, I know her mentality, and I know what she would do. She'd be like, oh, you got to ask Michael because Michael has the money or some shit like that. And that takes the pressure off of her. Nobody's going to come to me and ask me for nothing. She already knows that. So it's kind of a joke. But I know that if she ever did that, nobody's ever going to come to me and ask for any type of money or any type of anything. Nobody asked Mike for shit because they already know the answer. I'm not the one to make those particular decisions in our relationship. I am the one to make that decision in the relationship, but I know that there is a fair balance. There's a delicate balance that must be dealt with in order to make such decisions in the relationship. And, there are very dark sides to supporting the Phoenix family. Very, 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 very dark sides to it. And at this particular moment, I have said my piece, and I appreciate you guys listening to me rant. I hope that I've gotten all of my thoughts out. So now it's time for me to run over to the chat. I appreciate you guys sticking it in. I see we got 31 individuals watching at this particular moment in time. I appreciate all 30 of you guys watching. Please make sure you get the likes up on this video. Definitely share this video. Definitely check out the IPA shirts. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. You guys need to become a part of this movement. This movement here is absolutely fantastic. The IPA, the International Passport Association, we are a movement. And if you guys want to become a part of it, become a full-fledged member, all you have to do is just buy your own t-shirt, man. And those are linked in the description area below. If you guys want to get the exclusive content that I put over on Patreon, by all means, check out the Patreon, man. That link is in the description area below. A lot of guys have said that they love what I put up on Patreon. It's nothing like I put up on YouTube. It's definitely a way for me to be free and a little bit more comfortable and, putting out content that I believe that my audience would definitely be happy with seeing, having videos where I'm a little bit more real. I mean, you can't get more realer than, this right here, but I'm telling you, we definitely get real over there. You know about the ebooks already. Those are linked in the description area below, and everything that you need. If you guys want to support the channel, you already know how to do so. But of course, the good doctor is happy that you come through and spend just a little bit of your time with him this day. All right, so you guys stay blessed and definitely check me out. Definitely hit me up, man, if you guys want to support, man. I'm all for it, man. So back to the chat, guys. Appreciate my man David Webb. David, you was here way before the live stream even started. Appreciate you, my dude, for spending some time. I do not know where the white women are at. You're gonna ask me that question all the time, but you all good, fam. My man Bruiser, what's going on, man? I appreciate you coming through. The doctor is never late. The doctor is always on time. As long as y'all stay in the waiting room and chill, the doctor is never late. You got to give me about 5 minutes or so to get it in. Shout out to my man Derek Floyd, man. I don't even have to ask, man. I appreciate you coming through and, showing some love for the family, man. You definitely know how to support the brother, and I appreciate you. My man Izorn is in the building. Fed up. Appreciate you coming through, Ray, man. Thank you for coming in. I'm definitely hoping that I see my man World Traveler and, of course, my dude JD Orca, aka DE Raptor, because you guys will definitely be able to provide the tidbits of information where, I feel like you can add it in where you get it in. And I love to hear from you guys. All right. So my man Bruiser says, yeah, my ex-wife, she got pissed because I was sending my mom more money than hers. Oh, guys, we never let them know how much money you send at all. You never let a woman know how much money you send at all. Fuck. If I want to send my mom more money than hers, fuck it. That's her problem. Shit, tell her to go out there and get a job. Tell her to send her own money. Like I said, you have to make it her decision. Like I said before, make it her decision. It's her job to send however much money she want to send home. And if she sends it all, fuck it. That's her choice. Like I said, my man Rain, man, what's going on? Dr. Milk Dud Robust. You are never going to let me go. But I appreciate you coming through and spending some time, man. Buffalo 6 said they got the guy who sent mail bombs. He was a major Trump fan. I did read that on the news today. I appreciate you bringing that up for me. I kind of try to stay on topic, but I do appreciate you bringing that up. I did see that on the news as well. Yeah, I'm just glad they caught him. Trump fan. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and hold that against the president because he does have some radical people who follow him. But that's a whole nother story, whole nother live stream. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. Rayman says, well, it's like marriage. Even if you both say I do, does not mean it's binding for life. True. Something you now that's what you say. It is like marriage. It doesn't mean that it's binding for life. But most times, once you start something, it's almost hard to stop. Almost hard to stop. Like I said, highly unlikely that you will until you get fed up or you just don't have no money. Those are probably the only reasons that you would ever stop. But most times, as long as things are going the way that they are, it's hard for them to stop sending the money. But then again, what pisses me off right here is when that amount starts to get a little bit higher. Just a little bit higher. Every time they need just a little bit more the next time. Oh, you started out with 5,000, then you get up to 6,000, then you need 7. Next thing you know, it's 10. And that shit right there is what starts making, when people start showing that dark side of supporting the family. That right there constitutes the dark side of supporting the family. When it's never enough, when the little bit that you send is never enough, that's when it becomes dark and the shit starts to become methodical. It's like a strategic plan to see how much money they could get out of you. And it's not even sometimes it's not even your girl. This is just the family guilt tripping your lady, your lady guilt tripping you. Oh, my brother can't go to college this month, or oh, they can't pay the electric bill this month. Oh, they're behind on this payment, they're behind on that payment. That's where it fucking starts, guys. The dark side of supporting your Filipina. It can never be enough. That's the problem. It'll never be enough, in my personal opinion, of course. My man John Bryan in the building. What's going on, man? He says the media knows these clowns want to be famous. You guys are still talking about Trump. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get to the topic where we're talking about the topic tonight. I'm trying not to get off topic. So if I avoid a couple of comments or I skip over them, by all means, if you want me to talk about them, you might have to super chat those because I'm trying to stay on topic, guys. Just let me stay on topic. My man Rayman says nothing gets set in stone. Much agreed. Agreements and disagreements are dynamic. Yeah, there is nothing set in stone, but for me, when you do make that commitment, that's an ironclad contract, just without all of the legally binding stuff involved, of course. But I like to consider it to be a legally binding situation sometimes, because you almost feel like if you say no, oh, you look at or some shit like that. It's just whatever it is, man. My man David says, if she gives me attitude after I say no, oh well, I feel for you, but you gotta kick rocks. Exactly. I feel the same way, man. If your girl gives you attitude when you say no, I'm not gonna do it, man, don't do it. Just kick her out. Fuck it. There's too many other beautiful women in the country for you to sweat over one. I get that. I mean, I'm just telling you guys. I want you guys to understand that there is a very, very dim dark side of supporting the Filipinas family. Shit could get crazy. Yeah, sometimes I've seen it lead to death, man. I've seen it lead to bodily harm and death over money that was not sent. I remember there was a guy, matter of fact, there was a foreigner who was having an argument with a family member, and he was telling them, look, I can't send the money this month. I can't send it because, I didn't get my check yet. But because of whatever dire situation that they were going to at the moment, they needed to have that money. Matter of fact, it could have been even something as crazy as a drunk relative who needed money to pay off a debt or pay off a loan that they had. And because they were expecting that money on time and it didn't come on time, they panicked and they started losing it. So they come to the foreigner's house and they were like, oh, you didn't send the money this month. Why? Blah, blah, blah. Get into an argument. Shit got crazy. Okay. I mean, it ended up in bodily harm. I don't like to divulge too much information about it, but the dude could have lost his life that night, all because he didn't want to send money. And that's the dark side of fucking with, the idea of supporting the Filipinas family. Who gives a Filipino a bad name? Oh, the guy who sent the mail. I didn't know he was half Filipino. Touche. Didn't know that at all. So here goes cornbread. Go figure with a name like that, man. He says, why do guys always talk about supporting their girl's family in the Philippines? It's so strange. You do realize that sometimes when you make a commitment, I don't know if you know this, but when you make a commitment to a girl, most of the time you're making a commitment to the family. That's pretty much it. You're making a commitment to the family when you make a commitment to the girl. For the most part, they do not live by American rules, man. In American rules, what happens is when a girl gets married in the United States of America, mommy and daddy kick her out, and it becomes the husband's problem. In the Philippines, when your beautiful Filipina girl marries a fucking foreigner that they happen to believe is rich, doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Tell me why that girl is not going to be pressured by family members to try to extract money from that man. You say, why do guys always talk about supporting the family in supporting the girl's family in the Philippines? The reason that we say that is because it's almost a question that you cannot avoid as a foreigner in the Philippines. You just can't avoid it unless that girl doesn't have family, unless that girl is not close to family. This is a topic that is always going to come up. You have the option to say yes, you have the option to say no. If those that say yes continue to do so, then you know that that money is going to be coming out of your pocket continuously on a regular basis. So you're going to be taking an L every month. For what? I don't know. But again, most guys choose to commit themselves to supporting a family that is not their own because it's their girlfriend's family. Again, in the Philippines, people live by different rules. That's why most foreigners bring up the topic of supporting the family. And there is a dark side to it. Personally, if you ask me, I don't have to do the shit. Tell you right now, that is not my job, nor is it my responsibility, nor will it ever be my responsibility. But for those that actually find themselves in this particular situation, I have to make sure that you address it, or at least for the newbies coming into the country, what they can expect. That this situation may come up where you have to answer such a question. That's pretty much why most foreigners talk about supporting the family of the girlfriend. Whether they do it or not, bahala ka, that's up to them. But that topic is always going to come up between you and your girl, regardless. I mean, I've never heard of a foreigner that has never been in a situation like this with their Filipina, or has never had this question come up, ever. Unless your girlfriend is super rich or whatever, and she can do it herself, then it may never come up. But for the most part, for guys dealing with women that come from middle to lower income families, of course that topic is going to come up. That's the reason why most foreigners talk about it. My man Bruzo says it does cripple more than it helps. That's the way that I've seen it. It never seems to go well, in my opinion. Raymond says the family was fine before you showed up, and they will be fine once you arrive and leave them. That is a very true statement. Very, very true statement. So again, you do not have to commit to this. I'm not saying that you do. I'm just telling you that if you do commit to the situation, there is a dark side of it. There is a dark side to it. And I want you guys to be very, very well aware of this particular situation, because it does happen. I'm not saying it's happening to me, but I'm not going to sit there and act like it doesn't happen to others. That's all. My man Raymond says OFW sacrifice their working lives to better their family situation. They very well do. They really do. They sacrifice themselves to help their families. That's not our problem, of course, but I see it. As a foreigner, yeah, that's not really our problem, but you see it. You see what they do for their families. They bend over fucking backwards. They bend over backwards to send money, and it sucks. It sucks major ass. My man Cornbread says I could barely take care of my own family. Why would I support another? Well, in this particular situation, it's weird though. When you say you could barely take care of your own family, I can understand that, because many of us can, especially if you're just living, check to check or whatever it may be, whatever your circumstances are. You said, why would I support another? That's $1 million question. But some people choose to support the family for some god awful reason. And I think that they choose to do that because the money that they may have to part with is not a lot in their mind. In their mind, that may not be a lot to them. Let's say if you commit to $5,000, $100 a month, maybe not a lot for you in the beginning until that price goes up. Then things get a little bit sticky, and that's when the dark side comes out. My man Bruzel does agree with the OFW point. It's unfortunate, guys. I'm sorry, man. I love my OFWs. I see how hard they work in Middle Eastern countries. I've seen how hard they work in the United States. They get paid to do some jobs, but then everything that they earn, they send home to their family. That's some bullshit, man. And they don't have enough for themselves. That's what pisses me off. Most people, it's funny though, because most Filipino families, not all, but most Filipino families, when they have a relative or somebody that goes abroad, they think that they are like instant millionaires when they're over there, like they're living the greatest life ever, not knowing how expensive it is to live in that country, what money they have to part with in order to pay a rent or to, pay bills for themselves and then send you money home. You be over there asking for 20,000, 30,000 pesos. That's like $600. They act like, oh, you can afford to spend it. You know, you're working in this US now. You're working in Canada now. You can do it. It's okay. You'll make it back or some shit. They guilt trip the fuck out of them until they actually send it. Kind of sad in my opinion. It sucks. I've seen it firsthand and I think it's garbage, but who am I to step in and say that that's wrong? That's up to the person sending money to make those decisions. OFW hopefully have something left when they stop working or retire. You hope that they do. Now, OFWs, I do give them credit where credit is due. Most of them, some of them, can be smart enough to put away some money for themselves, but for some reason, they always have family members with issues that always need you to send a little bit more than you sent the last time. So I can't help it. My man Buffalo wants me to bring back the rice topic. Maybe I'll do a part two of that. I'm sorry, I can't talk about rice. I done riced myself out, guys. We can't bring up rice anymore. But that's my off topic number two. I'll try to get it in. My man Bruiser says correct. Head of the family does rule. That is patriarchs and matriarchs of the family. They rule. There is billions of billions and billions of pesos coming from OFWs all over the world. My man Mike is in the building, BGC in the building. What's going on, family? Appreciate you coming through. I know that you can definitely chime in on this topic. I'm praying that you can enlighten the audience on, the whole. You're not necessarily an OFW, of course, but I think you can feel, family pressure, and you can definitely bring some light to that particular topic. Please add whatever you can to this, man, because I love your viewpoint. And if you do happen to send your email, man, I will bring you on because I think that you could definitely add something to this particular topic. I definitely was inspired by, the conversations we had offline and shit. So this is why this particular topic is coming up. So I appreciate you coming through. I know if you want to come on, just let me know when I scroll down to it, I'll bring you on, man. My man Chosen One believes that it is hard to say no when all 10 family members live together. Yes, if your young lady lives at home, yeah, it will definitely be hard to say no. That's what I'm saying, though. I feel like saying no is almost impossible. You have the right to, but how will you? I don't know. John Bryan says one nephew of him was considering studying art at university. His grandparents would have. His grandparents would have let him. Okay, but that's not common. And let me make that 100% clear. That is not common. Not common at all. My man MJB says, yeah, talk about useless degrees. Oh, yes, man. Who go to school for like some dumbass degrees or something like that. Something that you can't really utilize unless you become a professor in a particular field. Kind of dumb, actually. But hey, there are people who do go after dumb degrees. My man Chosen One says Filipinos are codependent on each other. It's just cultural. Yeah, it's probably almost close to impossible to find somebody who is an independent thinker. But like I said, there's maybe a chosen few, man, maybe a handful. Fly to the wall, man, if you're lucky. But yeah, I'm just saying. Oh man, Oahu Dude says, do they have social security in the Philippines? I kind of expect the support for elder parents to extend. Yes, they do have SSS in the Philippines for the people who are older. Yeah, they do have SSS, so that's actually a viable option. So, but I don't think it's a lot every month. But don't get me wrong, I don't know, so don't quote me on any prices. Don Harvey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through and spending some time with the good doctor. He says I've been following you for a while. He says, can I purchase a condo in North Point? Just curious, too lazy to check. Actually, I can't find the information. Yeah, Carmela North Point always has how can I say this? Where I was staying in the Airbnb, they always have condos available. They're building a new building actually right now. You can go online and just type in Carmela North Point, Davao City. They'll give you the information that you need, man. All right, that's off topic number 3. Damn, you got me. Like Malcolm says, man, one way or another, we're going to support. The dark side of supporting your Filipina is, regardless whether you believe it or not, chances are you're going to support anyway. So, great point, Malcolm. Appreciate you coming through, my dude. My man Tino says many OFWs come home with absolutely nothing. True. And land back in the Philippines and find out that money has been wasted, nothing built or invested. That is exactly the cold hard truth for most Filipinos. I'm saying if they are smart enough to put away a little bit of money for themselves, yes, They may have a fighting chance. But let me tell you exactly what's going to happen. They may have a fighting chance until they actually touch down in the Philippines again. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Mommy, daddy, cousins, uncles, everybody's going to come out with a handout, and whatever little money that you put to the side that you saved is probably going to go in their pockets once you actually land physically in the Philippines. Everybody's got a problem. Everybody's got a sad story. And of course, you having the big heart, or at least the ideology where you just can't say no, you're going to end up losing whatever you did save. So you're pretty much fucked on every front humanly possible, guys. I'm sorry. And that's why I feel so bad for OFWs, man. They got it the worst in their own home country. How fucked up is that? They got it the worst in their own home country. All right. All right, Fred Flintstone, I'm glad that you're appreciating the topic tonight, man. I had to get it out, man. I had to get it off my chest, man. I hope you guys are enjoying. If you are, please make sure you get the likes up on the video. Like I said, I'm going to start scheduling my videos now in advance so that you guys can come on and join the chat so that you're not late. You can keep up with every tidbit of information, live action, every comment, every chat that comes through. I want you guys to be able to come up, and I want you guys to be able to keep up. I don't want you guys to come in and say, oh, what's the topic today? Because then I have to repeat myself. I don't like repeating myself. So I want you guys to be able to keep up. So I'm going to schedule it so that you guys can come into the chat and wait for the good doctor to deliver his message of the day. All right. My man John Bryan says, helping a Filipino family is nothing compared to a Western wife that wants to upgrade from the Nissan to the Mercedes and doesn't pay off high credit card debt. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying in the original comment about why people talk about, supporting the Filipino family, because overall, you'll never spend more money supporting them than you would, trying to support somebody in your own country. That's basically what I was trying to say. I appreciate you, John. You kind of summed it up for me. Much love to you, my brother. Fed Up says, you want to get married in the Philippines, you're going to have to open up to the culture. Very true. I don't think you'll ever get around understanding or knowing the culture, which is why I do believe that the part of the culture that you do need to understand is the supporting of the Filipinas family, or what at least constitutes your Filipina supporting her own home, her own family. Maybe she has a job, maybe she's been doing whatever she's been doing to support the family. Once you get married, maybe the dynamic changes and that kind of falls on you. Could happen. That's all I'm saying. It could happen. So you definitely want to open yourself up to the culture and understand what it means to be, to come from such a strong, dominant family background. Guys, I know I'm late. Just let me catch up and we'll be all right. My man Bruiser says, in my experience, the typical Filipino family, it is the woman making the financial decisions and moves for the family. Very true. In Philippine culture, the wife holds the money, the father just works. I agree with that 100%. But I think in most foreign relationships with foreigners and Filipinos, the guy should be the one making the decision. But you're right, though. In most Filipino household, women are responsible for making financial decisions. Guys just work. That is very true. So thank you for bringing that point up. I'm glad that you did, because we do need to clarify that. But, that's something that could come up in the relationship, too, and that could be a struggle. Whenever, it comes down to who makes the financial decisions in the relationship, if she comes from a family where mom always made made all financial decisions, and, she has to give up that, not necessarily that right, but she has to basically at least go with your flow or go with your word. That may be hard for her as well. So definitely something to think about in future relationships, if this is something that you are considering getting into, at least relationships with Filipinas. Understand there is a dark side to this. Sometimes the dark side kind of comes out in your own girl before it comes out in things that may possibly or potentially happen with the family. All right, my man Malcolm says, only time Western women want financial support is contributing to the wedding bills, rent, etc. And everything else. Yeah. Oahudu says, I can see if you have no kids, but what if she elects to be a full-time housewife? Then if it is within your budget, you will have to contribute to support her parents. I would tell her to get her ass out there and get a job, man. If we ain't got no kids, then why you gonna be a housewife for? Shit, get your ass out there and work. I mean, personally, I